I hate suffering, guys. I want to enjoy life, and I want to have the best life, because that's the desire of God. He wants us to enjoy life and to have the best life. So if it's the desire of God for us to enjoy life and have the best life, it then means that everything that He created for us was for our enjoyment. So if you are suffering today in the context of a relationship, and you are enduring, just know that that's not the plan of God for you. Because the desire of God is that we are able to enjoy life. And it means that if we are able to enjoy life, it means that as far as romantic relationships are concerned, they are there for our enjoyment. They are not there for our suffering. Are we together? But then the question I want to ask each one of us as we create a conversation is that, why is it then that relationships or romantic relationships are very difficult? If the plan of God and the purposes of God for marriage, for romantic relationship, is for our enjoyment, you can reduce just a little bit. But I want to make a point to emphasize what I'm about to say. That's why sex was created. It exists in the confinement of God-ordained relationship that you can enjoy. It's just a sign that the desire of God is that you must what? Enjoy. So I want you to have at the back of your mind that relationships are for enjoyment. They are not for heartbreaks. But then the question we are trying to answer this afternoon is that why are relationships seem to be the source of our pain, the source of our disappointment? Maybe some of you today broke up with someone, or some of you, as the person you thought was supposed to call you, they didn't call you, and you came here very frustrated. Or maybe somebody promised to be with you for the rest of their lives, and they haven't been there, and that has also caused pain. Why is it that the thing that was created for our enjoyment has become a source of pain? It has become a source of pain, ladies and gentlemen. Or put it differently, is that relationship, or if you are married today or you are dating, a relationship or a marriage itself isn't the problem. Or a relationship that you are in or you're going to be in is not going to be the problem. So we are not going to blame marriage. We are not going to blame the relationship that you are in right now as the big issue. Relationship or romantic relationship are just but a mirror. We can see the mirror, right? That we can see. What is it doing there? It's reflecting what is in the building this afternoon. So whatever is there is being casted there because we are here. If there was nothing in this room, we would have not seen any images there. So if, for instance, we see that somebody, maybe, we give an example. You are all, by the way, looking so beautiful and so well put together. And let's assume that maybe somebody came and they had a black spot on their face. That black spot is going to reflect on the mirror. But are we going to blame the mirror for casting the black spot on the person? Are we? We are not going to do that. We are not going to blame the mirror for showing you that actually you didn't wash your face, for instance. So the mirror will always reflect that which is actually in that which is present. So when we look at marriage relationships, they are just basically but a mirror. They are the state basically of the individuals in it. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that, for instance, if you are enjoying your relationship today, it means that that product of enjoying the relationship is a byproduct of the individuals that are in the relationship. The relationship is not the one that is giving you what? The enjoyment and the pleasure and the good life. Or for instance, if you are having challenges in the relationship and you are sleeping in different bedrooms, or you are sleeping on the floor because you fought with your wife or your husband and you just don't want to touch her or touch him, and you say, you know what, today, just by yourself. We can't blame the relationship. We can't blame the marriage. That response and that reaction is actually pointing to the state of the individual or the individuals in the relationship. To those of you that are going to date, to those of you that are dating right now, to those of you that are courting, planning to get married, to those of you who are already married like us, I want us to think about ourselves, and I want us to look at ourselves and not look at the relationship that we are in as the big issue. So anything, any experience that we are going to have in the relationship will always be a byproduct of the individuals that are in the relationship. So if in the relationship we have somebody that throws tantrums, it means that that relationship has to deal with the state of that person. If we are in a relationship and we have somebody that is full of pride, it means that the person that is in that relationship with the person with full of pride will have to deal with that. And the state of the relationship will always show the condition of the individuals in that relationship. So if we want to improve our relationships, if we want to improve even the quality of people that we date, the focus, therefore, is not on the relationship. The focus, therefore, is not on the marriage itself. The focus should be on ourselves. So if you're looking to have a good relationship, if you're looking to have a good marriage, if you are looking to enjoy that which God has given you as a free gift, you are not going to enjoy it freely without looking at yourself and say, what is it about me as a person that will make the relationship that I'm about to get into enjoyable or not enjoyable? That's a question that you should be asking yourself. And one of the flaws that we have that makes relationship very difficult to enjoy, that has become one of the sources and one of the reasons why relationship fail to actually grow and become better, is what I can call, or what we have called in this book, selfishness. So we said that relationship will always reflect the state of those individuals in it. But because the individuals in the relationship are not perfect individuals, some of us are coming from background where we were traumatized, where we were neglected, where we had to fight for our lives. So when we are deciding to get married or to be with someone, we don't leave our traumas and the things that we have gone through at the door. We come with all that in the relationship. And one of that issue that we are all born with, I would want to believe, is that we are all born with a nature, with a state of selfishness. And selfishness, basically, it's where you as a person come into the world and fight for yourself in the world to have the thing that you want to have in the world. Or put it differently, is that all of us have this disposition where we get into everything that we get into not for what we can give. We get into the world looking for what we can get. Some of you that have employed people, you know that people get into your workplace for what they can get in their work, in your company, right? If they get tired of you, no matter how much you've been smiling at them, they will decide to pack their bags and they will go and look for another organization. We are always searching for something that is going to benefit ourselves. So by nature, we are actually, all of us are selfish. All of us at a basic level have to be aware that we are born in this world looking for our own interest. None of us by nature are here to care for others. But now think with me that we get then into relationship with this disposition of looking and taking care of our own interest at the expense of the other. One day, I sat with a couple that were planning to get married. And we were having a conversation, and this gentleman was very excited. By the way, it's not you guys. I've cancelled so many people. In case you are thinking like, oh my God, Pastor K is about to spill my beans. It's not you guys. But anyway, so I was like, can see the gentleman was smiling, and he was just so happy that he has found finally the right girl. So I said, so what is it about this person that want to make you commit to get married? He looked at me and he smiled. If you meet people who are in love, you've met one. So he smiled and he says, Pastor K, this girl makes me happy. And he went on to mention different things, such as she's kind, such as she's loving. Maybe we can even add she's patient. She's very gentle. And because of all these things that she is, I want to commit to be with her. And then for a minute, in fact, this book was born out of that conversation. Because I sat back on that day and I looked at myself that, maybe that's how I decided to marry. I looked at my wife and my girlfriend by then, or the one I wanted. I was maybe checking her behavior. Does she look like she can respect me? Does she look like she's loving? Does she look like she's gentle? And then perhaps I made a decision based on what I wanted from her. And then when I looked around and I figured out, I assessed people that I've worked with and observed, I actually realized that I've actually never ever met any human being that made a decision to be with someone based on the feeling that this person, I can give my all to this person. The first trigger is that we see the person, right? We look how beautiful they are. We don't ask ourselves if we are beautiful too. We don't ask ourselves, we look at how handsome this dude is. Do we ask ourselves if we can actually match the looks? We ask, these days, we even check the cars this person is driving. Do we ask ourselves, do we actually have the same kind of a car? Or we ask, where does he work? Do we ask ourselves where we are working? We don't, right? We are always checking what this person has that they are bringing to the table. But we don't assess how much we are bringing to the table. So whichever way that you look at today, I want to, all of us, when we decided to settle with whoever we settled with, we looked more on what this person is bringing to our table. And our table, I'm not saying this person to my table maybe. Maybe I looked at my wife and I said, what is she bringing to my table? So we decide basically on what we are assessing, that what is it that we are going to basically benefit from this person. We don't ask what this person is going to benefit from us. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the reasons why relationships are difficult. Because none of us in this room want to acknowledge our flaws. None of us in this room want to acknowledge that we have weaknesses. All of us in this room have a disposition, we have this inclination that by nature, basically, ladies and gentlemen, we are a people that are selfish. Including myself. Therefore, the difference that shifts the nature and the state of a relationship is basically in the levels of selfishness that exist in that relationship. Can either be a maker or a breaker of a relationship. If maybe you are even aware as a person that you are selfish, you are even halfway to making the relationship work. But at most, I want to believe that most of us are blind to our own level of selfishness. And perhaps that's the reason why when we are tired of the person that we are with, or those of you are dating, you can even remember maybe why you left the person. It's basically about the things that didn't do to you. At most. You decide to say, I can't date a guy that can't even call me. I can't even date a guy that can't even buy flowers. I mean, I don't even have a girlfriend allowance. Why should I be with a guy like that? I'm good looking, I'm young. I think I should just let this guy go and then look for another. Some of you guys who are young, maybe you broke up with a girl because she refused to sleep with you, right? And you're like, but what do people in relationship do? Why can't we just do it? And maybe you met a godly lady that says, no, I don't want to sleep with you. And you decide to break up. And the reason you decide to break up is because she didn't give you what you wanted. So if you love someone, the point is what my wife is making, is that the degree to which you allow that which is genuine to be given to the other. Because by nature, love in itself, as we call it, is not feelings. It's not the emotions, not the goosebumps you feel where when you meet a girl and a guy, you exhaust your airtime, you walk to the nearest garage, or if you have your application, you buy airtime, the airtime get exhausted because you are in cloud 9 somewhere there, even above cloud 9. That's what happens, right? Because we are in love. But ladies and gentlemen, the taste of love in itself demands, and it demands that at some stage in your relationship, your love is going to be marked by what you are willing to contribute to the other person. I sit with a lot of people, and this is a privilege that I have, which I'm honored to be given a chance by God to speak to people and interview people and have a conversation. But relationships, most of the time when you gather and we have a conversation, they are not far from what one is feeling the other is not doing, or what the other is not being to the other. I've never met a person that came to say, hey, Pastor K, this person refuses my love, refuses my gentleness, refuses my patience, refuses my kindness, refuses my ability to love them with my all. Most of the time you hear what the person is not doing that is not making this relationship work. How many of you have heard about submission? A man must be submitted to, right? And the man is the head of the house, or the head of the family. To those who are dating, you don't have a house. But, but the fact of the matter, when you dig down, the battle between the woman that is saying a man must love his woman, and the man who is saying that the man must be submitted to, or you must submit to me. When you dig deep down, when you actually interrogate, the issue is not love, the issue is not submission. The issue is that each one of them chooses in a given moment to choose to be selfish. So if I'm a man and I feel that my wife is not respecting me, I find ways to punish her. You know what I'm being? I'm being selfish. If my wife feels that I'm not being a loving person, and she chooses not to respect me, what she's choosing is not to respect me. What she's choosing is to be selfish. Here's what I've learned, and I'm going to open up for a conversation, is that when you exist in the relationship to give, what is going to happen basically, ladies and gentlemen, what somebody is failing to do is going to be less of your business. Because you are going to be preoccupied to deal with your own level of selfishness. You're going to be occupied to deal with your own level of resistance to what even the relationship is demanding from you. And I want to ask you to hear me very well. Some of you that says, I can just pick up any girl, I can pick up any guy. That's where the problem is. Because if you know what relationship demands, that the relationship that works demands you to be selfless, you are then going to be careful to choose a person that's not going to take advantage of you. Are you getting the picture? This is why we talk about not being unequally yoked. In simple terms, is that what you should be looking for, to those of you who are dating and planning to settle someday, is that you are looking for somebody probably who have the same ideas and ideologies about love. Because if you are selfless and you meet a person that doesn't believe in being selfless, that relationship is not going to work. By the way, relationships do not work on the goodness of one person. Let me come this side. I heard Mr. Shandu agreeing there. Relationship basically will never work on the goodness of one person. But it takes one person to destroy a relationship. But it takes two to build a relationship. So if you are looking to build a relationship, to some of you who are young and looking to date and looking forward to get married someday, you are blessed, because some of us didn't even have some of these things that you are hearing. Is that the fact that then in your dating and in your interacting, what you must be checking are also values. Is this person a person who believes that in the relationship it's not 50-50? In the relationship it's I give 100% and you give 100%. In the relationship that I seek to be selfless, you also seek to be selfless. That's how relationships work. And that's how good relationships are built. But the problem that we have, ladies and gentlemen, is that we get into relationship purely, at least to me, maybe I can acknowledge my selfishness, in case you think I'm judging you. But we get into relationship with what that relationship can give to us. We don't get into the relationship weighing the cost of, do I have what it takes to give into this relationship? On the other hand, we also create lists. Let me just close this. We create a list of I want a gentleman, I want a loving wife, I want somebody who is very rich. We have this particular list, ladies and gentlemen, of the good things that we want from the other person. If you want to build a good relationship and have a relationship that is going to be sustained, that's my point, is you must be what you want in the other person. If you cannot be what you want in the other person, you have no business in being with that person. Some of you are dating. You're not even supposed to be dating, actually. You should be having a break to allow yourself to outgrow certain pettiness. You should be, in fact, ladies and gentlemen, being single is a gift. So that you are not just waiting to find Mrs. or Mr. Right, but that gift of singlehood is making you become that right person. So that it's not about somebody finding you. It's also about somebody finding you in a state that will make the relationship work. So if we're going to build relationships that are going to last, we must reflect back and look at ourselves. What is it that I'm bringing to this table that will make the relationship? It was basically what you would call a player, right? He was going out, enjoying life, picking up girls. And he was, because people are looking for certain things they can benefit from those who seem to be doing well. So at some point, he realized that, okay, I think I'm tired of just, sleeping around. I need to settle. And when he decided to settle, he found a girl that was decent, never had that life before. She lived a good life, decent life. She had her own mistakes. And decided to, she met this guy, and this guy was serious, and they wanted to get married. And they saw the parents, had a discussion. Everybody was very excited. At least the parents of the player were also very excited that at least our boy, we are tired of seeing, there are families that allows girlfriends to come in the house of their parents. There are those families like that. I hope yours is not going to be like that. Your children must never allow a boyfriend to come and sleep in your house if they are not married. By the way, let me just leave that on the side. So, they decided to get married, but there's something that he didn't disclose. He didn't disclose to this lady that in the process of sleeping around and having too many girls, he had actually contracted HIV. So, getting married, they got married, and now that the deal is sealed, married, everything settled, honeymoon done, then he gathers the strength and says, by the way, there's something I failed to tell you, is that I'm actually HIV positive. But why did you not tell me? And the response was, I was afraid that if I tell you the truth, you're going to leave me. So I decided, because the word, I love you so much, and I didn't want to lose you. There are so many lessons in there. But if you love someone so much, don't you think that love demands that you tell the truth? So he didn't tell the truth, not because he loved the woman. He didn't tell the truth because he loved himself so much. He was selfish. And I'm sure in your head you are thinking, this guy, this type of people, just arrest them and put them into prison. How can you marry someone? But the point I'm trying to make is that we can be so sensitive about health-related issues and how people should disclose their health status. Even their family background. If in their family there are people with epilepsy, because you're trying to check the probability of your children having certain things. We are very much concerned about the health state of the person that we are getting married to. That if they lie to us about their state, it's a big betrayal. But the person that conceals the truth from a health point of view have something in common with somebody that conceals the truth about their character. And the underlying issue in both instances is that by all means, selfishness would tell us to get what we want at the expense of the other. We must have what we want. And if we need to suppress even our character. By the way, when people are dating, they're at their best behaviors, eh? So, so that's what it is. So that's for free, by the way. But just know that they are by their best behaviors. And they are their best behaviors because they want to suppress the flaws in their character so that they can get this girl, they can get this woman. And once this woman or this man commits, then their real person comes out. The concealing of the character flaws is basically a byproduct of what I'm talking about, selfishness. So, as I conclude, if we want to build health relationships, ladies and gentlemen, let us demand to be what we want from our partners. Let us also be aware that by nature we've been born into this world preserving our own interest at the expense of the other. That level of awareness will make you look at yourself and say, what is it about me that will make this relationship work or not work? In fact, also, it's okay to acknowledge yourself. If you do not have the capacity within yourself to commit to somebody, just say, I'm not for you. You are a good person, but you're not for me, and I'm not for you. But if you've committed and you are in a marriage right now, or you've paid lobola, I encourage you this afternoon that perhaps the problem isn't the person we are looking at. Jesus told a story about having a small, what? A speck in your eyes, or looking at somebody. You know, you're looking, in paraphrasing or saying, you are looking at the problem of this person, not knowing that what you have is actually a log. It's 100 times, the problem with you is 100 times more than the small problem that you are looking the person has. What the Bible is trying to teach us, sometimes we can magnify a big problem looking at the person that we are looking at, not knowing that the problem that we are saying the other person has a problem, ours is 100 times more. If you acknowledge that you might be 100 times more a problem, you're going to humble yourself and begin to look for ways that you as a person can become a better person for the partner that you are with, or the partner that you intend to be with. Brother Francis,